Hi, everybody. It's Donna Reed with Up With People 1976 Cast A, coming to you from the Cactus Lounge. And once again, please see Paul Caldwell. There's a cactus right there. It's some deserty thing. I think that I start a lot of these saying, I'm super excited to talk to this person. And maybe it's because I like doing this, but I'm super excited to talk to my guest today. So this morning, I get to chat with JoseLuis Gonzales Segura. And JoseLuis is the first person that I'm interviewing who traveled his first year with me. Yay!
Yes.
Yay!
That's right.
1976A. So welcome, JoseLuis.
Thank you, Donna. It's great to be here with you.
Thank you for joining. So I was going to say, oh, you're from Mexico City. So, but that's not where you are. So tell us a little bit about, because I don't know this, when you first saw a show, how you got involved in Up With People. I don't think I know.
Don't. Well, I think it was in high school in Guadalajara. And one day, right before the break, they announced that they had a surprise show. And so we walked out of the classrooms, and our school was big. I mean, it was big and beautiful with 2 floors and corridors or whatever.
Big hallways, corridors, yeah.
With big, long hallways. And then all of a sudden, Up With People started in all of the loudspeakers of the school, it was a very good sound system. And to me, it seemed like hundreds of people came out from everywhere, singing and dancing. And I think I cried. I'm sure I cried because I cried for everything. So I'm sure.
Yo también.
I'm sure. I was just in awe, and they were asking for host family. So I went home. We had never received a stranger in my home. So I went home, I talked to my parents, and thank God my dad loved music. I mean, he was a very good singer. So I told them that I wanted to host somebody, and we all agreed that yes, one person. And it had to be a male because it was me and my brother, so they didn't want any girls in the house with 2 boys. And so, to make the story short, we ended up with 3 people in my house because the day of the cast arrival, 2 host families didn't show up. And I was very good friends with the PR team. So I said, JoseLuis, please take 2 more people. So we took him. And on that day, I had a reception in my house for them. So I invited all of my friends, and I mean, we're kids. We were probably 18 or something.
I wondered what grade you were. Okay.
And we had a great time. Pepe Zarzanedas was one of those 3 people. And
who?
Pepe Zarzanedas.
Pepe Zarzanedas.
At that time, he was like a show manager, but he was very well known. He was a very good staff person, and he needed somebody to teach the cast a Mexican dance.
Oh.
One of the girls in that reception was Laura Garcia, Rebecca Garcia's sister.
Oh.
I don't know if you know Rebecca Garcia, but she joined Up With People later on, and then she became Blanton Belk's secretary or assistant for a while.
Okay, so let me interrupt just for a minute. What year was this? When were you?
Oh, I don't know, 76.
Trying to remember how old you are compared to me.
60, 69 probably. The
Okay,
first
okay,
time up with people, the first time up with people came to Mexico.
okay, okay,
That's it. So it must have been like in 68, 69.
okay.
So Laura started teaching some of the girls in that cast the Mexican dance, and they couldn't get it. So they asked Laura to perform in Guadalajara.
Oh,
And it was so good that they invited her to tour Mexico with the cast. And at the end, they invited her to join up with people. And she left.
just got on a bus and went, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I was in touch with other people for a long time. I was very good friends with Belen Davila because she was always doing PR. And she loved Guadalajara. So every time they did Guadalajara, I was there. We hosted, I helped them. My dad at the time was the director of a PR agency. So we helped
Okay.
with spots and things like that. And that's it. In 76, in 75, I received my letter saying that I was accepted. My family wasn't going through a very good period of economically.
Okay.
So my mother said, you should stay and help your father and needs you. And my father called me and he said, listen, JoseLuis, listen, son. He never called me JoseLuis.
Listen, son.
Listen, son. I cannot give you 1 penny, but I don't want you to stop your dream of joining up with people because of that. Go out, get the money anywhere you can, sell whatever you have to sell, do whatever you have to do, and go.
Wow.
Don't worry about the family because taking care of my family is my business and I will do so.
What a
So
great
don't
thing for
worry.
your dad to say. Yeah.
Don't worry, just go. So I went.
And okay, so back then, I think what we paid $3,750, $3,900. I don't remember what we paid, something like that. But from a dollars to pesos perspective, I remember when we came to Mexico City the following year that, you know, you were getting 10,000 pesos for everything. I think I told you I found a 10,000 peso bill a couple of years ago, which is good for nothing, you know.
Yeah.
But how economically, what did that mean for you?
Oh, it meant working really hard. I was working at a bank at the time.
Okay.
So I kept working at the bank. I sold everything I had to sell. And I almost made it. But I still needed, I think, like $500 or so.
Okay, right.
It was a lot of money for me.
Yeah.
It was a lot of money. And one of my father's best friends called me to his office one day. And he said, Huicho, they call me Huicho.
Huicho?
Huicho. Huicho, I know you want to go to Viva la Gente. Are you all set to go? And I said, no, I'm still missing $500. So he opened his drawer, wrote a check, and gave me the check.
Wow. What a great story. What a great story. Wow. See, things you don't know. We didn't talk about that when we traveled, right? Nobody asked who paid your way to get here.
We didn't care about it. We were so busy learning and
yeah. So thank you for sharing that story. I did not know that. And it's funny, as I was getting ready to make this call, in my brain, Mexico City, because that's the last place I saw you, right? But are you in Cancun now? Is that where you are?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
I've been here for 7 years now.
7 years. And, I always hear about your beloved Guadalajara, and I've never been there. And one of my friends from Tucson was just down there. I think you're friends with her too, because of real estate. Mari Aguirre Berena. She was just down in Guadalajara, and she posts all these pictures, and I'm like, I got to get back to Mexico.
Oh, wow, that is beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going back to Guadalajara.
That's what I thought you had said. So tell everybody what you're doing now and living in Cancun, and, kind of how that evolution when you sold your house in Mexico City and you're in Cancun.
Mm-hmm. What do I do now? Well, a very good friend of mine, 10 years ago, I think, or I don't know how many, told me, JoseLuis, have you ever thought of going into real estate? And I said, oh, no. Real estate is not for me. So don't even think about it. And then when I moved to Cancun, that same very good friend called me and said, JoseLuis, there is a new office in Cancun. Oh, sorry for the noise. Let me close the door. My dogs were out, so I couldn't close it before. So that friend told me, there's a new office of Keller Williams in Cancun. Why don't you just go and interview and find out what it is like? So I went to KW, and I liked it. I liked the concept. I liked it so much that I joined the team here in Cancun. Later on, I became a trainer.
Such a surprise that you became a trainer.
And then I was asked to be the OP.
The OP, the operating principal.
Operating principal for the office in Cancun, which I did for a while.
Yeah.
And then for various reasons, I decided not to continue with that.
Yeah.
But continued with KW for a while. And I've been doing that ever since, along with my coaching and training. I just had a conference 2 days ago for a group of.
That's right. You were preparing for that when you and I were kind of chatting about this.
Yeah, it was very good. It was very good.
That's awesome. And for those of you that haven't guessed, I may or may not be that friend.
So everybody knows that friend who invited me into real estate is Donna. So thank you, Donna, because it's been a great ride. It's been a learning experience. I have done things I never thought I would do.
Nice.
And I'm making money. So that's good.
If all that goes together, that's.
And I think that's a good thing. Everything I do, the coaching, the training, and real estate, those are all things that I can keep on doing when I retire. I hope to retire in a year and a half, or maybe a little less than a year and a half.
Okay.
And those are things that I can still do.
Right.
When I retire. So I feel like I have something good in my hands. So thank you.
I agree. It's funny because I think often about, am I going to retire? When would I retire? And then I was at a meeting the other day, and we had a couple of one of our commercial agents and one of our residential realtors are both in their 80s, and they just keep doing it when they feel like, and they take the classes, and they talk about how good it is for your brain to just keep studying and learning and, doing, and you can kind of do what you want when you want. So I appreciate all of that. So, all right, back to Up with People. So you traveled, did you end up doing PR in Mexico City when we came and performed it in Mexico City in 77?
Yes, I was part of the PR team.
Okay.
In Mexico City with Televisa. So we worked very closely with Televisa.
So not my host family. My host family was in Guadalupe, Tepeyac. And but I became friends with one of the men from Televisa, and I'll find his name and I'll let you know, but I have a picture of he and his kids. And I think about how much time we spent with Televisa, but I couldn't remember. Who else did PR with you? Was it somebody from our cast, or did they bring somebody from cast B?
No, there were people from the office. Kathy
Caddy
Caldwell.
Caldwell? Yeah,
Caldwell was there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
too long
who
ago. All right,
Yeah.
so then we did 6 weeks or something to Mexico City, and La Reina Mexico, and
Arena Mexico.
yeah, it was my first time in Mexico. Been back a couple times since. You then continued to travel and work with people for many years, right?
Yeah,
How many years did you end up?
more than 10 years.
How many?
More than 10 years. A little
More
bit.
than 10 years. Okay. And kind of did all things. I remember that you ended up being cast director, right?
Yeah, I did PR for a while all over the place in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
States, in Latin America, in Europe. I did the scheduling. I was cast director for 2.5 casts. One cast I took in the middle of the year, and then being a cast director, kind of, I had to go to Argentina to arrange for a tour. So it was a different situation with that cast.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
I worked at the office. The last few years I worked at the office as a cast director with a new concept that they had, where the cast directors stayed at the office, and from there he directed the team on the road.
Wow.
And it worked, but then it was time for me to leave. I knew I wasn't going to get a visa to stay there forever as a resident or anything.
Right.
And decided to come back to Mexico, and that's what I did.
And then I remember you were with Novartis for a while. You did marketing, right? Is that correct, for Novartis?
I did, Ricardo. I did, when I returned to Mexico, I was very lucky. I got a temporary assignment to move to Mexico City and open up a few offices for a US company. And then I got an offer from General Motors.
That's right.
I was the head of public affairs and communication for GM Mexico for a long time. And then Novartis Pharma invited me to join their team as director of communication and sales to government.
Yeah.
And I ended up it wasn't Novartis, it was Ciba-Geigy. And Ciba became Novartis later on.
Okay.
And when it became Novartis, they invited me to be the head of human resources development for all of Latin America.
Okay.
Which I did. I did that for a while too.
So
until I decided that it was time for me to fly on my own.
And do your own thing. Yeah. All right. So I ask everyone if you have songs that through the years have been super special to you. And I'm starting to tell people they can't say Rhodes or Moonrider because everybody says that. So because there's just iconic ones, give the children back their childhood or whatever. So I have in my mind, because you're from Mexico, what I think you should pick. But
no, I really don't like that song.
Which one?
The one you're thinking of, El Puente.
¿Por qué no?
I don't know. It's probably because I know because it was dedicated
Oh,
to the president of Mexico.
oh, okay, okay. I get that. Yeah, if you know some background that
And
you're
I have the backstory of that president and his wife and
yeah.
all the crazy. So I mean,
Okay.
it's a nice song, but whenever I hear it, I just click
So,
it. But the ones I have two songs that I really
yeah,
like.
tell me.
One is Till Everyone Is Home.
Oh,
Because
Ralph
I
said
think
he loved that one.
it's a current song.
That's a great
And
song.
being such a big place that we have to live in,
Mm-hmm.
there's still people without a place to call their own, their home. And it's so sad.
Yep,
Every time I see somebody on the streets, it's like,
I know.
it really makes me feel bad.
Yeah,
And
that's,
the other one I love is Give the Children Back Their Childhood. Because I don't think we realize what we're doing for the children of the world.
especially right now.
Good and bad, because I think humanity is not that terribly bad.
Right.
I think for the most part, we're good, but we're doing certain things which are terrible for the future. You know, there are things that will not affect me, but will definitely affect
The next generation or
the
two.
next generations. Yeah.
I agree. You know, do you remember seeing the interview that I think Phil Wooster did it with Herbie and Ralph a number of years ago? May they both rest in peace. And Ralph talked about Till Everyone Was Home, Till Everyone Is Home being one of his favorite songs. It was a great little interview. And they were still in Herbie's studio, you know, kind of sitting over there visiting. So I was going to ask you if it was No se puede olvidar esta alegre canción.
No, definitely, definitely.
It was the only song that I performed in Mexico with Godi Rechkeman. And then like he told this whole audience that they grow them big in the United States because I was bigger than Godi. And guess what? I never got to sing it with Godi again.
No se puede olvidar esta alegre canción.
Y
Y gozar, ¿qué?
puedas
Y
recordar
recordar
esta composición.
esta. Okay. You know, we had such beautiful songs,
We did.
and then such stupid songs like that one. You know, but they, I mean, they worked for the show. They
Yeah.
moved the people, and
Yeah.
I mean, they had a purpose, but they were so dumb, so stupid.
Did you listen by any chance to the interview with Carolyn Lee that I did? So if you haven't listened to it, because she talks about songs and then she emailed me and she said, you know, when you're a writer, you have plenty of time to edit, but when you're doing these live things, you just say stuff and then you think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said it. Because she gave her opinion on some of the songs and some of the shows, and it just cracked me up. And I said, you know what?
Oh, she's so fun.
Live TV, it is what it is. So I also want to ask you, because I know that you had a special relationship with a special person that most of us have never been blessed to meet. So tell us about your relationship and your encounter with Mother Teresa.
Oh, I love that. You know, I always think that I was born to be a fantastic Catholic, because I've had like 5 face-to-face encounters with Pope
Yeah.
John Paul II. One with my mother that meeting I loved. But then one day we had done, it was in '87, I think, we had done a show at St. Peter's Square at the Vatican for John Paul II.
Right.
And I was the cast director. And I was just by the Abbots People truck. while the cast was striking the equipment. And this guy came over to me and said, "Oh, are you with this group with Viva la Gente? Viva la Gente?" Yes. "Oh, hi, my name is Bruno. Oh, I'm JoseLuis." So we started talking and talking and talking. And he was one of the Pope's drivers.
Oh.
And during the conversation, Mother Teresa came up because I admired Mother Teresa. She reminded me a lot of my mother.
Oh.
They were both women of action. Not, I mean, of course they prayed and everything, but they were out doing something for the people. And he goes, "Would you like to meet Mother Teresa?" I said, "Oh, I will die to meet Mother Teresa."
Oh.
"I can take you." "So really, you can take me to meet her?" "Yeah, I'll take you." And I really didn't think it was true. I thought he was just
Yeah.
showing
Making up a story.
I said, "Well, I'm ready. When can we go?" And he goes, "What are you doing on Sunday?" "Nothing. I'm free." So I said, I'll pick you up at 9 o'clock in your hotel." We were staying at the Ambassador Hotel, like a block from the Coliseum.
Okay.
So 9 o'clock sharp, I was down waiting for him. Didn't know if he was showing up or not, but he showed up. He came and he drove me to one of the 7 hills of Rome. All of the names are in one of the groups in Facebook. Under amazing things I did while I up with people. I
Oh,
wrote
cool. I'll have to look that up. I didn't know that. Okay.
with people, with photos and everything. And so we went up the hill to a monastery. And in the chicken house of that monastery is where Mother Teresa had her convent. In the chicken house, a tiny little
Wow.
thing, really.
Wow.
So we knocked the door. She wasn't there. They told me to come back at 1 o'clock. And I said, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here." So I walked around, and at 1 o'clock sharp, I was
Back.
climbing the hill, and it was packed of people. I mean, the little patio outside the convent was packed with people and media, and I knew
Wow.
that she was going to be there.
Wow.
So I went, knocked the door. The nun looked at me and let me into the convent. So she said, "Wait for her right here at the library." A tiny little room with
Yeah.
old books, whatever. And all of a sudden, I see this tiny little thing walk by. It was Mother Teresa, and I couldn't believe it. And
Wow.
so she did her thing. She was having that meeting with Roman families who had adopted children from Africa. And she was thanking them for doing so.
Wow.
Well, that ended, and I'm right here in this room, and outside of the room, there was Mother Teresa taking care of her flowers. And I said, "What do I do?" So I called the other nun, and she goes, "Oh, just introduce yourself to her." And so I introduced myself, JoseLuis Gonzales from Mexico. I admire you, the usual thing.
Yeah.
And you will think that she was a sweet, nice old lady. So she looks at me in the eyes and she goes, "And how is your relationship with God?"
Nothing like getting to the point.
I think I'm fine. "When was the last time you went to confession?" "Oh my God.
Wow. Oh, we only have 10 minutes, JoseLuis.
20 years ago." So she screamed and told me that, I mean, offered me to take me to confession with a holy man that later on I realized it was the Pope. But I wasn't into confession, and I had, on that night we had a gala with Blanton Belk and his sort
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
But she goes, well, come to mass with me tomorrow. I said, I'll
Okay.
go to mass, 6 a.m. in the morning. So for a whole week, I went to mass every day with her, and we talked about things. She gave me all kinds of things. I have one of the little books they use for their prayers.
Yeah.
I have little papers with her handwriting with prayers that she wrote for me.
Wow.
She gave me stamps. She gave me rosaries. She gave me medals, little medals. And
Wow.
it was Easter, and they had an Easter dinner for all the poor people in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, we need waiters for the luncheon. Would you help us? Of course, I'll help you. So I was a waiter for that luncheon, a fantastic luncheon. I mean, beautiful. I mean, it was like a deluxe restaurant.
Yeah.
And I remember that one of the tables there was this guy drunk already,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted more wine. And I said, how am I going to give wine to him if he's already drunk?
Yeah.
So I asked them, Mother, do I serve wine to the guy who's already drunk? I said, who are you to question that? If he wants wine, he's here to celebrate. So I just gave him whatever he wants. Wow. So he kept on drinking the whole time. So I had fantastic memories of her.
That is.
I feel very lucky.
Yeah, no kidding. And we've got about 3 or 4 minutes, but when you said, as I've talked to people and, you know, all through the years, our experiences are, I think I said this to somebody, they're entirely different and exactly the same, right? Unique things happen to us and for us that never would have happened if it hadn't been for Up With People. You wouldn't have been there, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have just been hanging out in Rome in a hotel, you know, like, so yeah. So I just think I love hearing the stories, you know, of what has happened to who one of the men that I interviewed was supposed to be in the draft, registered for the draft for Vietnam. And he hadn't done it. And then Up With People kind of got him out of it because of the type of program it was. So just random things that happen. So in these last couple minutes, Luis, where have you been or not been that maybe is on your bucket list? You really want to go back to, or you haven't been to and you really want to go?
Well, I really want to go back to Italy for sure.
Everybody does.
And Spain.
And Spain.
Those are 2 places I need to go. And I want to go to Asia. I was with the China cast. With the
right.
First,
I remember that. Yeah.
But it's a different world from what it is today. So I want to go back to.
Everybody wants to go back to Italy. I was laughing. I'm starting to say, okay, you can't pick this song and you can't go back to Italy because everybody wants to go there. You know, everybody wants to do that. I'm going to be in Barcelona for a few days and I've never been there.
I know you're
almost there. The only place that I've been in Spain was when Karine and I and Kitty went in 78, and Bob Bandis's cast, that 77, 78 cast was there. And I don't know if you remember this story, but they were doing a scavenger hunt and we went into a bar and Bob Bandis and Billy Holmes were in the bar as part of the scavenger hunt. And you're like, huh. And it wasn't big like Mexico City. I mean, it was like Logroño or, you know, some other, I don't remember, smaller town, but that's my only experience in Spain. So I'm excited. I've heard wonderful things about Barcelona.
Oh, you're going to love Barcelona.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm super excited. So also I've talked with a lot of people about food that they tasted for the first time on the road, really hated, never ate it again, food that they didn't know what they were eating, food that they learned to love. Tell me something about food.
Well, I love food, you know. My big panza testifies for that. One thing that I hated and I would never try again is the 1,000-year-old eggs in China. They were the only one thing that I would never try again in my life. And we had to eat it because it was given to us at all the ceremonies, all the cocktails with the government officials. And it was a delicacy. And they're like eggs that they soak in some powder. It's called cal in Mexico. Cal,
Okay.
well, whatever.
Anyway, so you're not going to eat 1,000-year-old eggs.
Never again.
Never again.
Everything
All right, so
I will eat anytime.
the last couple of things. And this is kind of personal, going to be on this thing. So was Scott Dupay with that cast in China? Scott Dupay.
No.
No, I was thinking he was. Okay. Anyway, there's a couple of people I'm going to see up in Phoenix. I'm just going for the day that he was the first person I hosted. He was
Really?
he was doing PR. And I asked my brother the other day, I go, where did these guys sleep? Like, I don't know. Anyway, and then personal memories with you, just laughing hysterically when we did Wabash Cannonball. And I don't think that either one of us really knew the steps.
I have a picture of that, and we look very professional, Don.
Oh, okay.
I don't know you, but
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah, that was always super professional. So anyway, I have to end this. I love you. And I'm so grateful that we did this. And
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks a lot for inviting me.
yeah.
It's always a pleasure talking with you.
And I will see you again up the road or down the road.
I'm sure soon.
Yeah. Espero que sí.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. All right.
Take care. Love you.
Love you.